Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Two Bitches on a Bench, coming to you from sunny Calgary, Alberta. Last day of the Calgary Stampede, sitting close to the river, and it is a humid day. There's a coolness in the air though. Today we have a special guest appearance by bitch number 2, and we have no preset conversation for today's podcast, so we're just going to wing it. We're going to start out with talking about how to resign diplomatically with couth from a job that you hate, a boss that is an asshole, and how you do it saving face but still trying to get that one last maybe little dig in if possible. So we are going to use bitch number 2 as our case study. Bitch number 2 is going to resign from her job tomorrow. Yay! So bitch number 2, how are you going to handle it? Let's build the scenario. So
you should build it because I'm
okay,
biased.
I'm going to build the scenario for you. Excuse my sniffing.
Because I can't be diplomatic anymore.
So let's say first thing in the morning you get to the office.
I'm sure there will be somebody there because I get no peace.
So might as well do it and get it over with first thing.
Yeah.
You walk in. I'm going to call your boss Fatty McGee, and that's my favorite pet name for people that I don't know.
Right.
Okay. So you walk in. FM, I was going to say FG. FM is there.
Well, I'm going to be ominous and shut the door because I don't ever shut the door.
Okay, so you're going to walk in. You're going to stand tall. You're going to have your
I'm going to sit down.
Big boy pants on, and you're going to shut the door. Okay, build it for me. He's going to turn and look at you with WTF look probably, because you shut the door. Is that fair?
Depends on what kind of movie he's in.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm just going to sit down and just say, here's my letter of resignation. My last day is the last Friday is the 28th of July.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let him go. Because if he doesn't say anything, then that was easy.
Okay.
But I'm still going to make sure that I'm going to forward my reasoning to his business consultant.
Okay.
So somebody that he talks to about his business. And that I've met this person, and I'm going to make sure that I explain why and explain. I mean, the thing is that I have been told, this is going to come across as a not so humble brag, but I've been told at multiple jobs that, I've got a very positive outlook, I'm very smiley, I'm very, I'm not over the top, but I'm just very me, which is explained by the fact that I want to become a drag queen. But every part of me at this place, for those of you who know the disc profiles or the colors, the red, blue, yellow, and green, I think.
Yeah.
And there's disc. My boss and then the other person that works are very, very high red, and I'm very high everything else, but my red is really, really low down, which means I'm very, very, I'm detail oriented. I relate to people really, really well. I connect with people really, really well. I need positive reinforcement. I need explanation, but I need time to think. Whereas the D people are very engineer type. So they want what they want. As one person explained it to me, what is it? Be quick, be brief, be gone, or something like that when you're dealing with reds.
Yeah.
Or the D people. The D people. That wasn't a commentary on anything. But the thing is that these people are so very similar and there is no room for anybody else. So if I'm asked by him, I need to find a diplomatic way to say that, but I'm still going to make sure that I pass that along to his business consultant so that that's something that they can work on when they're looking to replace me or hire somebody else in the position. I just don't think that it would work, that it's somebody like me or somebody who's different from them, because there's just no space for somebody like me in a place like that, or somebody different than them. A better way to put it.
Okay.
And especially somebody like me who is complete opposite. When I say complete opposite, I mean complete opposite. There is no similarity. From what I've explained, yes, I'm biased, but from what I've explained, would you agree that I am complete opposite from...
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so also based on what you've told me, I suspect that he's not going to say anything to you or ask any questions. Chances are it's going to be okay, and that's it. But on the off chance that you are surprised and he decides to ask you, let's pretend he decides that he's a caring person.
No.
And an actual engaged boss. And
A leader.
Yeah, a leader.
Because he definitely fits in that I'm the boss thing, but he's not a leader.
Okay,
There's a big difference that I've learned, that boss and leader
are two different things.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive.
So let's pretend that he's going to take on the role of an engaged leader when you resign.
Yeah.
And let's say he, sits back in his chair and he looks at you and says, "Oh, I wasn't expecting this. I'm really sorry to hear this. Can you tell me why? Is there anything that I can do to change your mind?" How would you handle that?
I mean, the fact is, there isn't anything that can be done to change my mind. A big factor for it is more money.
Right.
So the fact is, I've been there for almost 2 years, and I've done a lot of that wasn't censorship. The FCC's coming in. They're not crazy about our language. I've done a lot of training, both in my field as well as personal development type training, and I mean, not to sound selfish or greedy or anything, but I've got no $1 raise in 2 years.
Yeah,
I went to $1 an hour, and it's also frustrating because I come from a very, very extensive administrative background, and this person that I work with doesn't come from any background, and we're making the same amount. Which the other part of that is that I shouldn't even know that.
Right.
And yet there's no confidentiality, there's no nothing. So I'm going on the tangent. I guess I'm just airing my grievances.
That's okay.
But so yes, I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about the money, and the money is a big thing. I mean, the only possible way that I would ever consider staying is if there was a $10 discount raise, which I know that's not going to happen. Culture within the office, because like I talked about before, the difference there's been comments that were made quite a few times. It hasn't been relatively recently, but comments where boss and coworker are talking about some obscure reference to a TV show or a book, which is not my cup of tea. I like non-fiction books.
Yeah.
I like learning that way. But they're talking about fiction books that, oh, have you read that? No, I haven't. Oh, well, that's something that we need to add to our required reading list for our next time. You don't say something like that. It's demeaning, and regardless if it's a joke or not, just because I don't go home and read books like Lord of the Rings book in it where she talks about, how to be proud in your own skin and how to create your own drag persona. I think that's special.
Of course.
And I shouldn't have to be made to feel less than because I don't go home, open up a mirror, and watch some obscure television show that just doesn't have any interest in me. But that I don't make them feel bad about that, and I don't think that that's fair that they made me feel bad about that.
No, it's not fair. So, and I totally get what you're saying. But let's go to it, because I'm curious to see how you would handle it if he actually asks you the question why.
Well, the reason why would be A, money.
Yeah.
B would be I was part of a networking group that people in the group had worked really, really hard to get me in, because it was a little bit of a bend in the policy of allowing me to be in there. So there were a lot of really great people who rallied in order to get me in there and worked with me to be there. And it was a really, really big deal for me to be there, and it helped make me feel significant and as though I was contributing something to the business one day a week. And it was just all of a sudden this decision that he made last week where, okay, this isn't working, we're not getting the referrals we want, which anybody who's a part of that group will tell you it usually takes a year or two to get business rolling.
Right.
And even though my boss had been in it prior to me, it's not a matter of, okay, everything that he did is just being transferred to you. There's still a growth process where people need to get to know me, need to get to know what I'm doing within the business, how I fit in with that.
Well, they have to build a trust with you as a person too.
Yeah. So it's the credibility component of the chapter, and plus, there's lots of new people who are always joining, so you're always needing to get out there and kind of market yourself as a person or market yourself as a person within the business. And so I had been in there officially for 4 months, and then all of a sudden it was just a decision that he made where this isn't working anymore. Well, to be honest, he was expecting, $20,000 clients, and I mean, even for the people who are giving us that business, that probably doesn't come around for them that much.
Exactly.
So I would imagine that if somebody's coming in and, they need a whole big smattering of work done, chances are most of them probably already do have a lawyer that takes care of that. So if they're going to an accountant or a bookkeeper, chances are they probably already have a lawyer. So in the meantime, he just wasn't willing for me to put the time in to do smaller business things, which could equal up to, if I had the ability to do it the way that I wanted, that could have brought in, $5,000 to $20,000 a week, depending on how hard we worked, which that's still a good amount of change on smaller transactions, which could in the future end up being bigger amounts later.
Right. The one thing that I don't ever understand about smaller individual type business people, they always seem, and I'm not a business person, so maybe I'm missing something, but what I don't understand is why do they turn away the small stuff? Because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, you could get one big one, or you could have 6 small ones, and potentially you could earn more from the small ones than you do from that one big one. And you've got 6 small ones that could then branch out to, he tells a friend, she tells a friend, they blah, blah, blah.
Right, and I've got 2 points on that. The first one is we know somebody, we both know somebody who owns a business where you purchase a program. So this program might go 6 months or a year, depending on what you're looking for with their services, and those prices are generally set, but they are willing to work with you, where if you go to them and you say, I just can't afford blank per month, they work together to see, for them, it's not about the money value. Sure, the money value is great because that's the value that you're getting for your product, but if they see a real potential in you as a client, if they know that you're going to work hard, if they know that this is something that you really, really need in order to flourish, they're willing to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've even got stuff on their menu, quote unquote, where you can purchase one thing that you might only see them one, and yes, it's a very low ticket item, but still, for them, having talked with them, it's a way to get people in the door. So if you've got 10 people who are doing this thing that costs, let's say, $150, which is way on the low end of some of the stuff that they offer. Okay, so you might have 10 people do it. You might have 2 people say yes, they want to go ahead and continue on with the suspicion for 6 or 12 months. Then you might have, 5 people who say, well, I don't know right now. But they make sure that they stay in contact with these people, and a lot of times these people, months down the road, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 12 months or more, come back and you say, you know what, now's the time, and then they might have 3 that they never see again.
Right.
But even still, that's still 70% of a quote-unquote close rate that might have taken a while.
Yeah.
But they're still not sitting there going, well, we're not going to offer that because that's too small. I only want the $10,000. The clients instead of paying me $10,000 for a total year. That's to me, that doesn't make good business sense.
It doesn't.
Especially for a small company where you might be a startup or you might be relatively new. To me, that's kind of greedy. That's greedy. Where if somebody comes in to where I'm working now, and they might require a will, but they can't afford it. It's just then you need to go somewhere else. And yet, then what's going to happen when this person passes away? They have no money in their estate, and their poor family has to take it on, pay all these debts, and it becomes contentious. Plus, it becomes more money later for people, for the estate or the beneficiaries potentially have to pay it out of pocket because the estate doesn't have the money. Like it just.
Well, see, on the other part of that too, as somebody who wants to start up their own business, I look at things like that and I think, okay, well, if you take on smaller things like that and you offer, a range of pricing of services, to me, it's you're building customer service.
Yeah, you're building a relationship.
Yeah, and if that person, that's muted going on in the background, if you offer a range of service or level of services, and then that person is talking to a friend or a colleague or whoever, you're going to be the one that comes to mind. And then the other part of that too is, like, aside from the relationship building and the trust and all of that kind of thing, the other thing I'm thinking of is that's going to pay my office fund. That's going to pay my coffee fund. That's going to pay my marketing.
We don't have a coffee fund, but that's fine.
Wait, you know what I'm getting
at,
right?
Yeah. No,
like, so I just can't wrap my head around stuff like that.
So part of that too is having had a conversation with some of the people in this business network group that I was a part of. No, maybe they don't completely understand the limitations of soliciting in a law firm, but they've all worked with lawyers. They all kind of have, some of them have their own professional conduct that they need to abide by, which a lot of times is going to be similar.
Yeah.
Accountants, for example. And having a conversation of saying, we want to be able to offer clients a way in the door where they're not being scared off by, $1,000 right away where they walk in, right when they sit down, you have to pay $350 for a consult. It doesn't build good. So this whole idea that there was a team of professionals together and they do business together as, I'll call it a co-op, where, somebody can go to an accountant and they're looking to start a business. They go to an accountant, the accountant says, well, have you done this? Let me put you in contact with this person.
Yeah.
Then they go to that person, and this person, you know, if they're a business coach as an example, and the business coach goes through all the stuff, gets them set up and says, well, have you thought about this? Oh, no, I haven't. Great, let me put you in contact with somebody. So for me, the boss wasn't willing to offer anything in amongst this power team. And for me, it didn't seem fair that you've got all of these professionals, all of whom need to pay their bills. They all need to, they all need to put money in the bank. They all need to pay their mortgages or, spousal support or whatever the hell they need to pay. And yet, I'm having to look like the asshole standing there saying, no, we're not offering anything free. I had a problem with that. It's not even my business, and I had a problem with that. And, the explanation was, well, that's a big chunk of your time to be offering something for free. Well, it's not like I see that money. My fee, I'm doing air bunnies or air quotes right now, my fee is $125 an hour. I don't see that. That just goes back into the business. So I find it a tough thing to swallow. That it was a matter of, this is the idea, and it was just completely shut down without even any regard for giving it a try. And so my role within the office was wills and estates and incorporation, so minute books and all of those goodies. And it would be so easy for me to be able to, wills are a little bit different because you pay for the service.
Right.
You sit down with the lawyer, you go through everything that you want, we draft the wills, you need to come in, pay, and then we execute the wills. So it's relatively simple. You don't ever really, if you draft wills and the people never come back, so it's an hour of my time.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
But for minute books, the idea was, what if we were to have people send you their minute books, you can go through and say, okay, this is what's missing, because a lot of people don't know what is required in the minute book.
Right.
That would be so simple. But that was a no. And even something like that, so when I was explaining that, the rationale on the boss's end was, well, that's not the type of work that we want. Well, then what am I doing here? If we don't want if wills and estates are not estates, but if wills are too small, that's what I'm doing, and it's too low of a price point, then why am I here? And incorporations, that's too small of a price point, then why am I here?
See, and that, to me, that's complete, I don't want to use the word stupidity, but
Bullshit?
there's a word that I'm looking for, that there's a whole market out
Untapped
there
market.
that could be, I'm having trouble with words today. There's a whole little niche market there that could be extra cash that wasn't even considered in the whole business flow, but you could actually make a fortune off it.
Well, and it's funny that you say business flow, because not that long ago, the boss and I had a conversation of this kind of life cycle of a client where if they come in the wills, on the wills side, so they come in, you do a will for husband and wife, $1,000. Those wills should ultimately be reviewed and updated every 5 years,
Right.
or if a big life event happens, kids,
somebody
grandchildren,
dies.
divorce, anything like that,
Yeah.
that they need to be updated. So there's some extra money and a way to keep in contact with them. Let's say it's a relatively young person who just bought their first house. You do a will for them, $700. 5 years down the road, they come to you and they say, okay, I've just gotten married and we're having kids. We need to update our will. Great, we do that. Then they start talking about, oh, you know what? I'm actually looking at starting my own business. Great, let's get you incorporated.
Yeah.
Let's do all of this. 5 to 10 years down the road, they come back and they say, their business has boomed and they want to look at how to save tax. Awesome, this is great. Let's create a tax plan, and that's where the money is. So let's do that for you.
Short-sighted. Sorry, that was the word I was looking for.
It is very short-sighted.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's short-sighted. It was short-sighted for that day.
Yeah.
Whereas having just talked about the business, the flow of business, the business cycle of what we could have potentially for a client, where this client could end up paying the firm $50,000+ for an entire everything, and you are their lawyer, you are their confidant, you are their everything.
Yeah.
But no, it's too low of a price point. Well, what do you care? You don't even do anything.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, listening to you talk about all of that stuff. So, for someone like me, who I want to start my own business, your office, because I know you, hello, your office would have been where I would have gone to ask for help. Direct me, help me.
Well, I mean, there would have been a conflict of interest there, so I probably wouldn't have.
Well, no, but
I mean,
you could have
if I had
me,
been
right?
if I had been a lawyer, I absolutely would have done it for you, no problem. But I don't. Yeah, but for sure I could have. And I mean, we could have, we could have drafted all the documents, and we know some lawyers personally that if I had drafted all the documents, I'm sure that they would have reviewed it and been happy to sign it.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have to do the work, their paralegal didn't have to do the work. All they really needed to do was
sorry, I've got things going on here. We're having technical difficulties.
Dot the I's, cross the T's, and everything's fine.
Right.
But
yeah. So so back to the point. Are you going to, not in that much detail obviously, but are you going to bring that up in the event he asks? Are you going to take the opportunity to say, well, hey, I think you're really short-sighted on this. Hey, you've taken away.
I'm going to talk about having the business networking thing taken away, because I think it was a learning opportunity for the business, but ultimately it was a great opportunity for me, for my own personal development.
Yeah.
And no, I wasn't the one who paid for it, so of course, the buck stops at the business, but still there wasn't even an opportunity for me to get in there and give it a try.
Yeah.
There wasn't even
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, okay, sorry, so just because I was thinking about this, on that point, as a employer, as a leader, he should be considering things such as personal development for his employees.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I don't know that, speaking of short-sighted, I think that short-sighted means, personal development for him means he needs to see I don't know how to put this, because the same as building the not building the business, but team building exercise. Team building is going out to eat.
Yeah.
Which, sure, that's great, but that's not where my values lie.
Right.
For me, team building is having, a coach come in and do some work with us, which we've had that done once, and boss and other person working there, they had tapped out within an hour, and he was supposed to be there for 4.
Oh.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
So I think that there's that, and then, perks, again with the ear bunnies.
Yeah.
Perks for him is going out to eat. That's not part of my values.
No.
For me, perks is, take the afternoon off.
Yeah.
Or here's a Starbucks card. Go do something. Here's some tickets to the rodeo. Thanks so much. But that just doesn't. I think bosses' values or employees' values are equated to bosses' values. And that works perfect for the other person who works there, because they are carbon copies of each other.
Right.
But for me, There's so much more.
Well, interesting. That makes me think of a previous boss that I had. And he didn't come out and say it, but it was the impression that he gave, where a big portion of my job was to be out of the office. But he was of the opinion that you weren't working unless I can see you. You can be sitting at your desk watching YouTube videos or on Facebook.
Or on the phone.
Or on
overseas.
On the phone overseas, talking obviously not business.
Or English.
or English. But you're here, so I see that you're here, so okay, I'm good. Whereas if I would go out to properties and do what I was supposed to do, he'd be in a frantic saying, where are you? What are you doing? Well, duh, I'm doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
But he was happier to have me sitting at my desk, twiddling my thumbs, and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Or asking me, well, why isn't this done or why isn't that done? Because I haven't been out there to see it.
Yeah,
and I can't
because I can't get out there?
Yeah. So I kind of relate what you're saying to that same sort of thing. Like, there's no, some people are just so dense on making their employees happy. And,
yeah.
you know,
Well, I don't even know that's speaking of values, that's not a value for them.
no, they want to have that, I'm the boss, I pay you,
Yeah.
you do my bidding.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you're happy or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and for your previous employment, I think for that it was the making money.
Yeah.
That was the value.
Right.
There was nothing else.
Yeah, totally.
Well, it was the value, and it was the status and the impression that came with, I own my company and I'm the boss.
And I have all these minions working.
Yeah, like you
working
said.
for me. Yeah.
Look at how grateful they are that I've given them a job.
Yeah.
Look at how well, again with Beer Bunny, look at how well I treat them.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, behind closed doors, it's sort of the business equivalent of a battered woman.
Yeah, it pretty is.
But
pretty much is.
what's funny is that I can't see what the value of my current situation is, because boss clearly doesn't want to make money, because otherwise we wouldn't be turning away the opportunity to bring in thousands of dollars every week.
Yeah. He sounds like he's just his own stuff. Like he just doesn't. Part of it too might be the fact that maybe there was a point in time where he had a bit of oomph to run his own company, and now he doesn't. He's got his mindset to go elsewhere or do other things, but he also doesn't have the
He doesn't have the oomph to get out.
He doesn't have the oomph to get out, and he doesn't have the oomph to know what to do with the employees that he's got. It's like, okay, now what do I do? So let's just leave them sit there, do nothing.
And for me, I don't know that has the hallmarks of being a great leader or a great business owner.
Neither.
Right. So, going back to what you asked me, I don't think, it's not my place to say that about the business, this is what you should have done with your business. I don't think that's my place.
Right.
So, no, I won't say that, but I'll definitely mention the part about the business networking group, because I had people counting on me and relying on me, and I had such a great relationship.
Yeah.
And I was still working on this relationship, and then I had to say to them, you know what, I'm not there anymore, and that just makes me look like an idiot. And I know that they'll understand, it happens, but to me it just feels really, really crappy, because I enjoyed doing this.
Yeah. Well, you put your heart and soul into
I
it.
did.
It becomes personal then.
I did, and the thing is I put my heart and soul into it, and it wasn't even for my business.
Right. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part.
And there was just no anything.
Yeah.
There was
It's
not working.
There was no regard for you. There was no regard for anybody in the chapter. There was just no regard for.
Yeah.
It was a selfish decision.
Yeah, and I mean, I can only say so much, and it probably sounds a lot like I'm bitching, but
well, there goes some hay bales. That's kind of sad. The end of Stampede.
Hi, hay bales. That is sad. I don't like Stampedes.
But it's sad when it ends.
It is. It's very sad.
It's a big chunk of our summertime.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we kind of become alive for 10 days of the year, and then it's just back to
mundane.
yeah,
Day-to-day stuff.
Mondays.
I was sorry, I just wanted yesterday at our event when the big stage semi-trailer was pulling out.
I know.
I actually felt like I wanted to cry.
I know, it was
because
so sad.
like, this is the end. This is it. Like, it's over. All of the prep, we started prepping for that.
February.
In January was the first call I got from the committee. And I didn't have a clue.
Well, you had just started at your new job in December.
Yeah, and then it was, I mean, it wasn't constant, but it was always there. And it was sad. But anyways, back to the subject at hand. I just wanted to say that. So, okay, so yeah, I get that it's not your place to say about the business stuff. And chances are he's not going to.
Yeah.
I don't think he has enough.
He doesn't care enough.
Well, yeah, he has no interest in anybody else, really. He's probably just going to say to you, okay.
Make a to-do list of all the things that needs to get done before the 28th.
And can you make sure that your counterpart knows how to do blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, we've got everything in manuals anyway, so I guess that's my... How much do you give? Because this has happened to me, not at my last job, but the previous job. I was, when I left, I decided that I was going to be a model employee who's leaving, and make sure that I wanted to get all these projects done.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that there was a manual for the new hire, even though they didn't get their shit together fast enough in order to hire somebody in that time for me to be able to train them even for a day or two. And so I was working on all of this stuff, and then they tried to screw me over when it came to money, which they weren't allowed to do. And I stood up for myself. And then it just ended up being a miserable week where I was having to avoid one of the bosses, which isn't the way it should be at all.
No, it shouldn't.
And that put the rest of my coworkers in a really, really shitty spot where they now had to sign stuff, basically giving away their right to, it was for vacation pay.
Right.
Even though they can't do that.
Yeah.
They were still making them do that. And so I guess that's where is the line of, okay, this is what I'm going to do in order to, where is it the tying up loose ends for yourself and giving too much? Because, I don't just want to leave him in a blaze of glory and just say, fuck you to everything, as the place is going up in flames as much as I'd like to.
No.
But also, I feel like for everything that's happened, I don't feel that it's right for me to continue to give everything that I've got, all of my abilities, and give this place the ability to run.
No.
To run without me, which I know how bad that sounds, and I wish I had a better way of wording that, which I hope everybody understands what I mean.
Well,
I'm just not super eloquent.
I get what you're saying, and I've made that mistake several times of offering too much. And I guess the thing that I would suggest that you remember is anything that you have taken time to figure out on your own and learn for yourself, you keep that in your head. You don't need to share that with somebody else. Like, somebody else needs to take that same initiative.
Which, to be honest, has been a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exception of the actual kind of machinery type stuff, and what I mean as an example, photocopier and that type of thing, and the phones.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned how to use the phones more to their abilities aside from being able to dial 9403, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But there's a manual, because I went to the front desk and said, do you guys know how to do this? And they didn't know how to do it, but they gave me a copy of the manual.
which I then scanned and it's on the file. But I don't feel like I should then have to go in and completely write something new this is how you do this.
I wouldn't.
Because nobody afforded me that.
Exactly. So for you, my suggestion for you would be, I guess, like I think you said that you do the month end stuff.
Well, and that's already done.
So, I mean, maybe you just write a quick reminder.
There already is.
Okay, well then then there you go. I have a feeling it's going to be a really boring 2 weeks for you.
Yeah, me too.
You might have some long days. Can I give you some projects to do? But yeah, I sort of have a feeling that he's not, and okay, I have a feeling he's not going to give you the courtesy of a proper resignation for yourself. And the reason why I say that is because of a lot of his traits, not physical, but working type traits, are similar to a previous boss that I had. And when I resigned, he didn't talk to me for a week.
Yeah.
He avoided me for a week and didn't even bother to say anything. And my last day at work, he didn't even show up. Like, he wasn't even there. So I think it's a selfishness on their part, and they take it as you've wronged me, and now I'm going to shun you. I'm not going to pay any attention to you. Like, I know your boss doesn't even say good morning or anything anyways, but he's probably not even going to bother with you, put it that way.
Okay, which then adds more to the question. I legislatively don't have to give 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
So then it makes me wonder, then do I even give 2 weeks? Do I give a week? Because now I'm kind of worried that
you're going to sit there with
I'm going to have nothing to do.
Well, if you have nothing to do, you might as well have nothing to do at home.
Right, exactly, and then do stuff at home.
Yeah.
So then do I give, even a week and a half's notice where my last day is that Wednesday?
Maybe.
And then I've got, I've still given more than a week.
Yeah.
But then it gives me a few extra days.
I honestly don't think, just because of everything that you've said, and as we've been talking, my palms are turning.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. That's the smoke coming out.
There's wildfires. I know that's about.
I have a feeling that he's not even going to replace you. I have a feeling that if he says anything to you at all, it's going to be something on the negative derogatory end. And again,
as in,
okay, so as an example, again, I go back to my boss, and the one conversation that he did have for me, or with me, at me, was, well, when you leave, and keep in mind, I was with him for 16 years, and I was his senior person. I knew everything about everything, and that's not to,
no, but that's true. I mean, you were there from the start of his company.
Yeah, and going from, I think it was 8 properties, and we were already at 23. So I was there during all of that transition. Anyways, doesn't matter. But he said to me, when he finally did talk to me, all he said was, well, you should feel good leaving here knowing that you had a strong administrative role around here. That was a slap in the face. I had more than an administrative role. And he totally dismissed it. The only thing that I can take away from that I heard through the grapevine after is that he has now 5 people doing my job that I did for him for so long. But anyway,
as one person.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of that as an example for you, and I kind of have a feeling that he's going to do something like, well, this works out good because I wanted to get rid of the wills and the minute books anyway, so now this just solves the problem for me. Like, something really stupid and undiplomatic and uncouth and demeaning, essentially, because I know what you're like and you'll take it to heart. I just
I'll
have
do
a
my
feeling.
best not to.
I just have a feeling that that's how he's going to handle it. If he says anything at all, it's going to be something on that realm of it.
So then, should I
Well,
give a week and a half then?
You know, it might be in your best interest to do that, just so that you can collect your headspace after.
That might be nice.
Last days are emotional no matter what. Like for your own self, they're emotional. They're hard on the psyche. Like they just are, because it's an end of something. Whether you hate it or not, it's an end of something, and it's hard.
Mm.
So maybe you do. Maybe you take a few days and just, do what you want to do. Go to yoga, go to the gym, read a book, lay on the couch, whatever it is.
Those are my regular things.
Go and
Learn how to roller skate.
Yeah, go learn how to roller skate. be like that guy we just saw, who's teaching himself how to
Oh
skateboard.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Just
He was like an older guy, like not older, but in his 30s probably.
yeah.
And he's teaching himself how to
I think
skateboard
that's
along the
awesome.
river.
Like, good for
pretty
you.
Cool.
Because if I was doing that, I'd have to be in a closed garage where nobody could see me. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't think that he's going to be very courteous or kind.
Right.
And it may not even be by words. I think it's going to be by his actions.
Well, and I mean, he's gone 3 days this week anyway. He's only in Monday and Tuesday, and then he's in full week next week. So
see, and I kind of have a feeling that if he gives you any work to do, chances are he's not going to. But if he does, it's going to be one of those, and I might be over dramatic here, but throw something on your desk, quickly say, do blah, 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 walk away. And if you have any questions or you try to get some time with him to review it,
yeah.
He's not going to give it to you.
Well, that's
and
what
then
I get anyway.
And then he's going to be mad at you when it's not done at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I feel as though you have to do what's right for you, and yeah, it would be great and courteous to give him 2 weeks, but I don't think that he's going to give you the same
courtesy.
No, he's just going to treat you like a piece of shit, or he's going to ignore you completely, which is
Well, I don't really mind being ignored. That's fine.
Well, I know, but do you really want to sit there in that type of
No.
environment? Like, it's awkward.
I mean, I'll just make sure that I'll read if I have to or something.
Can I give you work to do for me?
No.
Oh, that's too
Not
bad.
yet.
That's too bad. But yeah. How are you feeling about it? Are you feeling good about it? Are you nervous? Are you...
No. I just need to draft a letter, really. We'll see tomorrow, but I feel okay, I guess.
I think this is a good... Sorry about that. We had a brief interruption from intruders. So I guess to put a end to this particular podcast, we are wishing bitch number 2 lots of positive vibes tomorrow. I'm not going to say luck because you don't need it.
No, I don't.
You just need, support. So we wish you all the support, and we're going to follow up with another podcast to hear about how things went. So stay tuned for that, listeners. And again, we're sad that Calgary Stampede is over. It is a big chunk of our summer, and it's a big deal here. Yeah.
That's pretty pathetic to say that it's a big chunk of our summer and it's only 10 days long.
I know. I was thinking when I was driving earlier, and I thought, oh, hey, today's the last day of fireworks. Not that I've gone any day anyways, and I don't usually, but that's always sad too, because it's the same as, okay, well, this is the last day of fireworks, and this is really the last day of fireworks until Canada Day for us next year. There's no
there's Global Fest.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Okay. I take it back. Oops.
But still.
My bad, I wrong.
Global Fest isn't until, I think, mid to late August, so
yeah.
By the time those are done, summer's basically over because it's back to school and...
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, yay for back to school and quietness and not quietness and stuff. But anyways, listeners, thanks for tuning in. If anybody has some advice, comments, words of wisdom, anything, comment below, finger pointing down, not up, down. Thanks, and we will catch you on the flip side.